here would say that they like animals? Most people, right? Now, who here would say that they want to harm animals? Absolutely nobody, right? That's appalling. But what if I told you that some of your actions might inadvertently be hurting animals? One such action is shopping for a new pet instead of adopting. Now, personally speaking, from my experience in adopting my new friend Radar a few months ago, I could tell you all about the benefits of adoption. In fact, by adopting a new pet instead of shopping for a new pet, you're ensuring the proper treatment of those animals and making sure that they have a long and healthy life. So, today I'm going to be talking about why shopping for a new pet is such a big problem, why adoption is a very workable solution, and we're going to visualize what would happen if this problem is continued to go unaddressed. Thanks, Radar. So, as I mentioned, the first thing we're going to talk about is why is shopping for a new pet such a problem? And today, I have a handy-dandy little pamphlet that's going to help us out. So, basically, all of these problems fall under the umbrella of they're unethical. So the first of which is going to be that a lot of those puppies in the pet stores come from puppy mills, which, according to Canine Journal, quote, practices and conditions in most puppy mills are unethical and downright abhorrent in many cases. Dogs live in filthy conditions without adequate food, water, or veterinary care. So, not a great place for those puppies to grow up in. When you shop for a pet, you're also contributing to unethical stores and unethical business practices, which, again, speaking from personal experience, there was a pet store in my local city that got shut down after it had multiple customer complaints, health code violations, and they ended up owing $86,000 in back taxes. Again, not a very ethical business. And finally, you're going to contribute to the problem of overbreeding and overpopulation, which is actually a big problem in our state. According to Animal Protection New Mexico, quote, uncontrolled and irresponsible breeding of dogs and cats and the purchase of companion animals from pet shops and breeders are the two biggest contributions to the state's overpopulation crisis. They also cite that there's more than 135,000 animals that enter animal shelters here every year, and over half of them have to be euthanized because there's just not enough homes to go around. So, as you can see, there's a lot of problems with shopping. So, what is the solution to this problem? I'll tell you. Adoption is the solution. And the biggest positive adoption is going to be the health care that's provided to those animals. Quote, in addition to some shelter pets already being spayed or neutered before you can bring them home, some shelters will do first vaccinations and microchipping. And that's according to the Humane Society of the United States. So, another big positive besides the health care is going to be the variety that's available. According to Insider, quote, pets you can buy tend to be very young, but if you stick with adopting from shelters, you can see every type of pet. So when you adopt, you get a much greater variety in age, breed, size, shape, activity level, etc. And the third biggest positive is going to be that you're supporting animal shelters, which work to give back and educate the community. And today we're going to be looking at the Animal Humane New Mexico as sort of a case study on this. According to their website, quote, Animal Humane's mission includes providing humane education to children and adults alike. So they have a wide variety of programs that teach you how to work with animals, train them, and give them a great life. So they also have a behavior helpline that new pet owners can use, which I personally use with Radar, to prevent people from bringing back their pets to the shelter for minor behavioral issues. And that helps prevent overcrowding, which will lead to euthanizing pets needlessly. So there's a lot of positive to shelters. But what if we lived in a world without a lot of animal shelters? So I'm going to help you visualize a world without shelters and a world with a lot more. We're going to go back to our handy-dandy little pamphlet here. A world without shelters is a dark place indeed. And as you can see here, there's going to be a lot of problems that are associated with not having animal shelters. The main is going to be you're going to have a lot of overbreeding of animals, which causes overpopulation, a lot of sickness, and eventually a lot of dead dogs. You're also going to have more unwanted interactions between dogs because of that overpopulation, meaning more people are going to get bit and more diseases are going to get spread around. And finally, you're going to have an increased demand for puppy mills because you can only get a dog through pet stores. So that means more animals are going to get mistreated, and you can only buy puppies. So if you wanted a dog or a senior dog, guess you're just out of luck. But not all hope is lost, because let's think about a world with a lot more animal shelters. With more animal shelters, you're going to have less demand for those puppy mills, which means that hopefully of those 10,000, a lot more are going to get shut down. You're also going to have less overcrowding in animal shelters, which is going to mean that a lot less dogs are going to get euthanized or be brought back to those shelters. And finally, you're going to have less medical and behavioral issues because those shelters are going to provide for basically all of the dog's needs, and they're not going to have those problems that they would on the streets. So, with these visualizations kind of fresh in our mind here, I'm going to help you recap why adopting is better than shopping and talk about some next steps. So to recap, buying animals supports a lot of different unethical practices, both by businesses and by the puppy mills. Shelters are going to be better for the animals and people in the community. And finally, a world with a lot more animal shelters and a lot less pet stores is generally better for everybody and is going to involve a lot less dead animals. So to talk about our next steps, obviously the biggest one is going to be if you're looking for a new pet, adopt, don't shop. But if you're not in the market, I still have some next steps for you. The first is going to be volunteering or donating to your local animal shelter, such as Animal Humane New Mexico, where you can volunteer on weekends to help walk their dogs. You can donate items like dog food or dog toys, or you can shop at the thrift store off of Manal, whose proceeds go directly back to that shelter and helping with healthcare costs. Or you can also donate to an organization that's working to solve this issue at a national level, such as the ASPCA or the Humane Society of the U.S.